Hello, and welcome to my vlog of today, which is Tuesday, the 12th of October, 2021. And I've had a lot of messages from across the globe, from America, from France, from Italy, as well as Australia and the UK, and a lot of them are about your concerns about how everything in the world seems to be collapsing. So I'm hoping that this vlog will give you some reassurance that although it's a bumpy ride at the moment, things will sort themselves out. I will start. I will start by saying, many years ago, I was involved in a training session, and we were told that we were going to take a trip to the moon, and we were given a list of things that we had to take with us, and we had to draw the list in order of priority. Now, on the list included a goodly supply of oxygen. We were told that the trip would be a round trip and that we'd already got 3 months supply and that we should be back within 2 months. And so a lot of people put oxygen low on their list, and I was criticised because I put it at number 1. Because as we all know, without oxygen, most of us on planet Earth will not survive. And it's always been having precautions. Because although the trip is supposed to be 2 or 3 months, you have no idea what's going to happen whilst you're out there, and you may have to be there for 5 months. So that was my thinking. And I think that's what sort of happened at the moment, and it's worldwide. A lot of countries will think their politicians are solely responsible for certain things. Here in the UK, Brexit and COVID are being blamed for a lot of things. And although they may be a contributory factor, I don't believe that they're wholly responsible. Here in the UK, I've drawn up a list of what people have mentioned to me. So the situation we've got a shortage of workers across the whole spectrum of industries. So it's not just one certain thing. So we have care workers, teachers, nurses, doctors. There's also we find we got no butchers as well as lorry drivers, and as a result. Pigs are being slaughtered because there aren't enough butchers to deal with them and to put them onto market. And then on the other side of the coin, we've got people talking about other people not having enough to live off. They're having to go to food banks. And so I must admit, it's appalling that certain things are going to waste because of a lack of supply of the workforce, is what we're being told. Now, there are those who are saying that Brexit is to blame, that all the foreign workers have left. That's not quite true. There's fewer people have left than you think, but a sizable number, and certain industries have been affected more than others, and particularly nursing and care workers. On a personal basis, I used to work for the NHS. My mother worked in the NHS, and 95% of the workforce were European. And this is because the Europeans, if they had the NHS on their CV, it would be a feather in their cap when they went back home. And generally speaking, these placements were for 3 to 5 years. You know, some stayed on and have stayed on for 40 years, and as far as I'm concerned, are very welcome. So it's Brexit didn't help, but I don't blame them at all. Don't blame it at all. COVID definitely threw the spanner in the works, and I think there's a lack of forward planning for any sort of situation, and so therefore I blame those who are supposed to be in charge, who state that they are better than us and that they know what they're doing. Those are the people I blame, because there has been no clear action plan. And even now in the UK, there's a lot of muddle and confusion. What else can I say? What else has been mentioned? So the food banks have been mentioned. Oh, and people saying that they can't really afford social housing. Over here in the UK, there was a depletion of house building for a period because it was left to the market forces, a phrase that makes my blood run cold. Um, Council properties were offered up for sale for the tenants, but no new council properties were put in place. Oh, it's a whole muddle and things, really. And I think part of it we can blame on an ideology. One of the things I will say, because gas has become an issue at the moment. I'm not too sure why the prices have gone up. Somebody else will have to explain. But the knock-on effect is that utility bills for everyone, as well as industry, in some cases going up 2,000%, we're told. The simple answer was to get cleaner, cheaper fuel. And for those who say, well, we haven't got any, the answer is nuclear fuel. It has been known for at least, well, I'd say 15 to 20 years, that nuclear waste can be cleaned up. And so it's left with an absolute fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the waste that we tend to have at the moment from nuclear energy. And the life of the waste will be shorter too. So it will be, once people pull their heads out of the sand, cheaper and safer form of fuel. But people say they don't do it, and somewhere in the conversation we'll hear people say market forces. Yes, it was an ideology that came about I think in the early 80s, and to be honest, it never really worked. It's one of those ideology that works in a small, narrow corridor, but in the wider world, it doesn't work at all. And if you look about it, generally speaking, market forces have led to the collapse of the housing market, being put forward as reason for not taking action when there have been warnings of pandemics and anything else, why things have not been stored to the amount that we need, and flood defence is not in place because it's going to be too expensive. We absolutely in the UK need to sort our sewerage and drainage situation, otherwise we're going to have a plague of some sort. And of course, the financial crash can be laid right at the foot of market forces. So I say market forces doesn't work, never has worked, and was just a silly idea that helps a few people get very rich. We need our politicians and anybody else in any influential position to just say, let's stop, let's take stock, and just do what is absolutely necessary to get us back on our footings. And stop blaming each other. Just get the plans together and don't take too long about it. All I will say at this stage is Occam's razor. And for those of you who've read my books, you will know exactly what I mean. Well, I hope I haven't carried on too much. I just want this vlog to reassure you that things will sort themselves out. And to those who are sorting it out, please remember that there are us and many other people and children having to live whilst you're farting around.